Less than a year on the job, and Governor Jill Marcus puts her mark on the release of the September 2010 quarterly bulletin by putting a rare governor's appearance. It was time to look back and analyse the performance of the South African economy, which appears to be slowly but surely returning to its feet.
The current account deficit of the balance of payment contracted markedly to 2.5% in the second quarter of 2010 after deteriorating to 4.6% in the first quarter of the year. This was largely due to an increase in travel receipts during the Soccer World Cup. But however, the Reserve Bank says that this trend is unlikely to continue.
Spending during the World Cup helped trim the deficit on the services, income and current transfer account to 80.1 billion rand from 103.2 billion rand in the first quarter. Like the World Cup itself, this happy picture is likely to be fleeting.
But it is indeed have been influenced by what happened during the football tournament. The average could hover around 3%, and 2.5% is was likely a little bit was good, easily financed, and that's what we're happy about. But I don't think it will remain within 2.5% for the time going forward.
Aside from football, the South African household, the main driver of the economy, remained reluctant to spend because of job and debt worries, with growth in final consumption expenditure by households slowing to 4.8% in the second quarter of this year, from 5.7% in the first quarter.
I believe with the economic recovery, definitely we'll see some activity from the household side. But again, there's some constraints that go with that in terms of employment problems that we're still having. And therefore, there is some activity that is going on. As I've mentioned, for 5 consecutive quarters, we've seen household not really spending. And the reason is based on the fact that there was indeed a recession.
The rand, which has firmed to a 2.5-year high against the dollar this week, was also a talking point.
In terms of what can be done around the rand, well, if we listen to the commentators, the rand can be managed in all kinds of weird and wonderful ways. The reality is that you've seen from our own numbers, the impact of appreciation. It is certainly impacting on manufacturing and exporters and so on. And therefore, it is something that receives attention from us all the time. But it's one thing to identify the problem, it's another thing to identify workable and sustainable solutions. And that's what we are in discussion with, is what can be done.
The signs are a recovery within Africa's largest economy is well underway, but it's going to be a slow recovery, according to the Reserve Bank, as job losses mean a robust recovery is likely to take longer than expected.